Welcome guys to this Python tutorials. Today in this series we will be working on variables, constants and identifiers. Before we move into details, I would like to draw your attention on why do we need variables, constants and identifiers. Okay, in the course of writing our programs, we will definitely get to a level where we will need to receive users data and then keep them somewhere, probably for future operations or saving them in our database. And at the course of time, we might also be looking for places to store result of our computation, right? So this brought about the concept of variables, constants and identifiers. So what are variables? So what is a variable? A variable is actually a container which we can store our value into. All right, variables are simply containers which value can be assigned to. Okay, now what are constants? Constant, as the name implies, is just a special version of variables whose values does not change once it has been assigned for the first time, right? Once you assign a value to a constant, it doesn't get changed at the course of your program execution. Okay, you don't want the value to be changed anywhere after declaring or assigning the value of that variable. Okay, so that makes it a constant. Okay, now the difference between a normal variable and a constant is a normal variable can be changed anytime, while constants can not be changed once they have been assigned. All right, then the third thing here is identifiers. All right, an identifier is simply a name which we give to our variables or our constant. All right, identifiers are names given to variables and constant. Take for example, we have two containers here, and then one of the container is for clothes and then the other container is for shoe. And then I sent a friend of mine to go get me a shoe from the shoe container. Now on getting in, my friend don't know which container is carrying the shoe and which one is carrying the cloth, which means my friend will have to open the two containers to know which one is carrying the shoes and which one is carrying the cloth. And then that might lead to some privacy leakage. All right, my friend might just get to open the wrong container and get to see what he's not supposed to see. That's actually not how I want it. Now how much more when there's label on this container? Once my friend comes in, he knows that this container is for clothes and the other container is for shoes. So my friend will quickly go to the shoes container and get me a shoe, right? Exactly. Now without the labels, it means our containers will be unidentified. And then if we have 100 of them, it means looking for shoes, you will have to go through probably up to 100 of this container as far as you didn't open the right one, checking for these shoes, right? But with the labels, you can actually identify which one is the clothes and which one is the shoe. So this is how identifiers are used in conjunction with variables and constant to enable our program store in values and be able to retrieve the values from the computer memory anytime we need it to get these values. So with that being said, let's quickly move on to our experiment, right? So I've got my Python open. If you're actually following this series for the first time, do well to check out the first videos on the installation process and then brief introduction to Python programming ecosystem, right? So that you don't get lost following us on this video. All right, so quickly, this is a script from the former video, so let's go ahead and create a new one. Let's create a new Python file and then let's call this should be video 2. This is our second video on this series. And then now, how do we begin to enjoy the powers of identifiers? Let's say I have a little song. All right, the song is I love Python. Should it be I love Python? No, I love Python programming, right? Let's differentiate the programming language and then the real Python snare. I actually not a fan of snakes. Okay, so I don't love Python. I love Python programming language, not the Python snake. So let's say the chorus is actually having 5 lines of I love Python programming, I love Python programming, and I love Python programming, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. This is our chorus. Then we have verse 1. All right, print this is verse 1, and then print this is verse 1. Then we come here and then print our chorus again. Oh my goodness, I love Python programming language. I guess you love Python programming language too. It means we will have to then copy and then paste this again up to 5 times. Wow, this is really serious. This is just 2 times chorus and then 1 verse. So what if we have up to 3 to 4 verses? It means this is verse 2. all right. This is also going to be, this is verse 2. It's actually not easy talking and typing at the same time, which means we're still going to copy this chorus again, wow, and paste it here. How much more can we continue doing this if we have 10 verses? This is going to be a very tedious work, right? We'll stop in verse 3. I can't just continue typing this. I'm actually a bit lazy when it comes to typing, not a fan of that. This is verse 3. all right, and we continue. This is verse this should be verse 3. all right, then we get our chorus again. Let's quickly run this and then we get going. We have our video 2 already loaded. If you are actually following, you can just go to edit configuration, and then if yours is not showing video 2, you quickly click on video 2 and then get things ready, and then you can run your program here, right? So let's run it and see. Let me get this up. We have, all right, I love Python programming 5 times. This is verse 1, this is verse 1, then I love Python programming again, the chorus for the second time, then this is verse 2, this is verse 2, and then I love Python programming for the third time. This is verse 3, and then I love Python programming again for the fourth time. Now assuming we have up to 100 verses, does that mean we'll continue pasting our chorus 100 times? Assuming we don't even have copy paste, which means we'll definitely be typing these choruses each time we need it. This is a very tedious work, and our chorus just have 5 lines. What if our chorus have 50 lines? Oh my goodness, this is going to be really fun. You know, you're gonna be typing the chorus all day, and then you end up having a source code with 1000 lines, and then it actually does nothing other than print chorus and then verses. So now with the powers of variables, we can actually assign this chorus to a container, so that anytime we need the chorus, we just tell our program, go get this container called chorus, and then bring us what is inside that container, which we believe should be the chorus, right? So quickly I will just say chorus equal to I love Python programming, and then let me quickly wipe this out and then make this a whole big chorus. Okay, this is actually going to take too much line, so I will just use one of the powers of Python and then get things done the right way. Too bad, I'm actually spoiling it. I think you should be aligned very well. and then U2 should be aligned. Alright. I'm sure this should work. I actually want the chorus to be in the same line. So now Python actually automatically add this slash to let me know that the whole thing is a continuation, right? It's not different. The whole thing is a continuation. I don't want it to span one line. It will be too long and we might not be able to view it. Alright, so I'm actually going to leave it this way. Then, which means anytime we want to access our chorus, we will simply call this chorus, right? So instead of, then we can just go ahead and say print chorus, and then let's see. So we should be expecting that the first time the chorus will be printed, it should be this one. Okay, so let's quickly do that and see what we get. So we run this. Alright, our program runs successful. It says I love Python programming language, and this gives us a very long chorus, right? Because as I've said earlier, this is a continuation, right? It is not actually splitting them into lines. It's a long continuation. Alright, then we have, this is verse 1, and then we have the rest of our chorus. This is verse 2, the rest of this. Now we are still not yet done. Assuming we want to change our chorus, and then it means we will have to follow through all our chorus, and then maybe it is no more Python programming language. Maybe it is well, let's say we want to change it to Java. I actually don't love Java programming. Those class stuffs are not funny at all. What am I typing, Java or alright, so it means we will have to follow all our choruses and then change and effect these changes. Wow, this is actually a very dangerous thing to do. Okay, it's actually going to be a very dangerous thing to do. So instead, we're actually going to enjoy the power of Python, and then remove this. We're actually going to say print the chorus. That means after each verse you should just print the chorus. Okay, after verse 2 we get this out, and then get this out, then tell it to print just chorus, and then after verse 3 we get this out, and then tell it to print chorus. Now our program, which has almost 50 lines, is now just having 20 lines. Wow, this is really interesting. So let's save that and then run it. So we now have our long chorus, I love Python programming. Wow, this is serious. And then we have verse 1, I love Python programming. This is verse 2, and then this is the chorus again. This is verse 3, and then this is the chorus for the last time. Alright, now if we want to change it from I love Python programming to Java programming, instead of following those chorus line after line, we will just come here and say I love Java. If you love Java, then you should probably not be here. I don't love Java, that is why I'm doing Python. I love Python, seriously. Alright, so let's run it. Now it says I love Java programming, and then here it's still saying I love Python. You know why? Because we didn't change the Python here. Alright, so let's quickly change it to Java and then run it. So we should be having I love Java everywhere. It is now Java, not Python anymore. So you can see how variables are actually making our life easier, right? Without a lot of stress, you can actually effect a lot of changes without going through a lot of stress. So variables are actually a very good thing to work with. In fact, you can't just do without variables as far as programming is concerned, except you might just be writing some I can't just imagine what you will be programming without variables. You will definitely need a place to store your values or some stuff to do your computation with. Now, one thing to note is this: by the left hand side is the variable name, right? that is it, identifier, we say we're telling Python to create a variable called chorus, and then it should store these stuffs here inside that chorus variable. Alright, so that anytime we want to get these stuffs here, we can just call on the chorus, and then it will get us whatever that it is contained. So my little advice, as I was advised, is your variable name should tally with what it contains. Just imagine if I change this to some kind of calendar. You know, it doesn't make sense. What has calendar got to do with I love Python programming, right? You know, it's kind of contradicting. The variable name doesn't tally with what is here. So we should always afford to use descriptive names that explains what should be contained in the variable, right? Because we write code once, but we read it more than 100 times. So you might just find yourself going through one of your program which you wrote 5 years ago, and then you might just be asking yourself, what is this variable used for? Because you actually used the wrong variable name, and then you will be having problem, right? So the variable name should be descriptive, right? Because we are storing chorus, so we call it chorus. Now, people from Java, from Pascal and C might be asking, this guy didn't actually declare anything like something like string chorus before doing some magic, right? As people from Java we do with this there semicolon. Right? You might be thinking, why is this guy not saying string chorus? Or people from Pascal might be saying, we should be having something like string and then chorus, isn't it? Well, as far as Python is concerned, what we call declaration doesn't exist here. Alright? We don't tell Python the type of data we want our variable to hold. Alright? The very first time you are assigning a value to your container, the container automatically dictates the type of data you are assigning to it. So it automatically knows that this is a string, and then this container should only be carrying string. Like for instance, you are saying this container should carry shoe. The moment you assign shoes here, the program knows that this container is going to be carrying shoes. Okay, so this is all for variables. Now, how about constant? How do we enjoy the powers of constant? Now, as we said earlier, constants are actually stuff that do not change. Alright, so let's say we have our little chorus here, and then all of a sudden I just come and then say chorus equal to this is my new chorus. Now I've changed the chorus. Running this, alright, running this now, we're going to be having, this is verse 1, this is verse 2, then it says what? This is my new chorus, this is my new chorus. Then, so it means these are values can be changed, right? What if we are working with program that we expect the variables not to change? Let's say we want to calculate the area of a cycle, and we know that the formula should be kind of, is it pi r square? I'm not sure, I can't really remember, but pi we know is a constant which is equal to 3.142, something like this. Yes, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we will not want anybody to tamper with the value of pi in our program, right? So in Python, unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, we don't have anything like constant. You cannot restrict anybody from changing the value of a variable at any point in time. Alright? Python doesn't enforce anything like constant. The only thing you can do is, there is an agreed convention that constant should be labeled with uppercase. That is why I use capital P and not the small one, right? Okay, 3.142. all right, this one simply means, oh, this is a normal variable, its values can change, while this one signifies to the Python community that this is a constant and its value should not be changed. Though this doesn't stop any programmer from changing the value. This is just a convention and not a syntax as far as Python is concerned, right? So we can still change the value anytime we want it. All right, so quickly, let's say our radius, something like this, equal to 10. Seems I'm spelling something wrong. Radius, that's why I kind of love PyCharm. Then we say area now equal to pi, then asterisk radius, and then asterisk radius. So if you're seeing this asterisk for the first time, we actually don't use times or x for multiplication in programming. We use asterisk, right? Don't just worry, I have more videos on Python and mathematical operations specifically for this, so look forward to more videos coming on this series. So let's quickly say print, let's add a description, area equal to, then we say area. Now don't just get confused, we're actually saying print this string area equal to, then get the value that is inside here, right, inside our area here, and then paste it here. So let's save this and run it. Now it says area equal to 312.4. We can change the radius to 4, save it, and then run it again. We have our values. All right, so in Python we don't enforce constant, right? But it is just a convention that when you have a constant, you should use an uppercase to name that constant, so that anybody coming in should clearly identify that this is a constant and nobody should change the value. But note, I said the value can still be changed despite the fact that it is a constant. That is too bad, but we can't do anything. All right, so let's just enjoy the benefit just as it is. All right, so this will be all for this video. Look forward to more videos. Now next video should be coming up next week, and this is going to be on data types, right? The type of data we have in Python and how we can efficiently manage these data. All right, and lastly, do subscribe to this channel, get your notification turn up so that you get notified when new videos are coming, right? You can't afford to miss more videos and more interesting ones coming in this video series. Stay put and then look forward to greater videos coming up.